Hi. Okay, I'm Stephanie. I'm house sitting in Puerto Rico. We're talking about house sitting today. This is a recruitment video. Okay, we're getting together to recruit you into house sitting. We're going to talk about our experiences, how we like it, how we got started, and why we think you should do it too. And also, hopefully, we'll talk about what house sitting has freed up for us in our lives. Like, what has it led us to? What has house sitting been a nice stepping stone to? I think a lot of Black women could use house sitting in their like toolkit of living a nice life. And so we'll talk about how house sitting has done that for us, or maybe hasn't. I'm not here to put words in anybody's mouth, but welcome. So subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're interested in house sitting, if you're interested in taking a career break or sabbatical, if you're at all interested in leaving the country. Subscribe, turn on notifications, ring the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a video or when I go live with my friends. Hello, friends. How are you guys?
Hey.
Hey, I'm so glad you're here. Ms. J, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hey everyone. I'm Ms. J. I'm an IT digital nomad and house sitter for the past 3 years. When I am not working, I'm doing fitness, wellness, traveling, of course. And yeah, it's been a great experience. So can't wait to talk about all the adventures.
Can't wait. Adventures is right. Can't
Yes.
wait. Felicia, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Felicia Shelton. I am the founder of In My Travels, and I'm right now in London on a month-long house sit. Thanks to Stephanie, and I don't know, my husband and I house sit together. We've been house sitting now for about 2.5 years, and I just saw Stephanie on YouTube. I don't know how I found her, but I'm glad I did. And here I am in London. I am now a slow traveler. I'm now saying that this is a luxury house sit that I'm doing right now, and yes, it's a luxury. It's a luxury house sit, and I think luxury house sitting is the new way to move abroad. I love doing this part time. I'm thinking of maybe living here part time and living part time in the States. And it's all thanks to house sitting.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. I can't wait to get into all of that. But listen, I got to act like I know. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, VCH Certified Life Coach. Good morning, Goddess Y. Good morning, Ra. Good morning, Janice or Janice. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Danita. Good morning, Nikki. So, friends, say good morning. Okay. When you're here, you say good morning. If you're watching the replay, hello, friends in the future. Say hey in the comments. All right. And we're glad that you're here. This is something that a lot of you probably have, some of you have probably thought about and just been like, I don't know. Some of you hadn't thought about it all. So let's get busy recruiting you. Okay. So you've both been, so Ms. J, you've been house sitting for 3 years, and Felicia, you said for 2.5 years. So you've both been house sitting for quite a while.
Yes.
Mhm.
Can you
Yeah.
tell me, let's pretend I don't know. Tell me what is house sitting. Tell me about it. Ms. J, you start. What even is it?
House sitting is, I would say, a mutually beneficial relationship of where you come into someone's home to watch their pet or their home, and in exchange, you get free accommodations.
Yes. And Felicia, how do you get these house sits?
I am also a member. My husband and I, we house sit together, and we house sit through an agency called Trusted House Sitters. You might be familiar with that. And that's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing for 2.5 years now. But this particular house sit is a game changer. It's a longer house sit, and this is what we do. I think house sitting for me is, if you're service based and luxury, it doesn't have to be luxury, but I only sit beautiful houses, and I think you do as well, Stephanie and Miss J. If I'm going to leave my own beautiful house, it's for another beautiful house. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what I do. I'm not into cramped spaces. If I'm going to leave my house, I'm going to be very, very comfortable, while at the same time providing a service, which is, like Miss J said, taking care of an animal, and number two, taking care of someone's home.
Yeah. So I dropped the regular link to Trusted House Sitters, but there is a discount. Okay. So I'm going to give you a special discount code, but I can't give you the discount code on YouTube. This link is for the future. Okay. So everyone who comes in the future, the link to Trusted House Sitters is in the description. But for those of you who are here now, Trusted House Sitters has given this community a discount code through December 16th. I'm in Puerto Rico, y'all, and I'm sweaty. Okay. But Trusted House Sitters has given us a discount through December 16th. That discount I'm not allowed to put on YouTube. So if you get my new house sitter toolkit, you'll get the email that includes the discount link. Okay. So get my email at housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit, and you'll get I said 25. It's 30% until December 16th. 30% until December 16th. Okay. So, but if you're watching in the future, that discount is over, but here's the code for you. Okay. So, I assume when people think of house sitting who don't yet know about it, they assume that they think of us in people's homes, but they can't really picture being in a stranger's home and being comfortable. Yeah. How is it possible to be comfortable in a total stranger's home?
I think, when I talk about house sitting in my social media, people always ask about cameras.
Yeah.
They always ask about cameras.
Always.
Like, aren't you afraid of cameras? I'm like, no. If they do have cameras, all that the homeowners are going to see is me taking care of their pet every single day and tidying around the house. And they're going to see me putting on my coat, my hat as I go out during my 3.5 to 4 hours free. That's all they're going to see. Yeah. So I'm very comfortable. I immediately say, this is my house, and I do all the same things that I would do at home, except I'm in someone else's house. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And prior to house sitting, I was staying in Airbnbs mostly when I traveled. So for me, it's the same thing. You're going to another person's home, you're staying, you're cooking, you're doing laundry. So there really wasn't like this big shock of going into someone's home. It actually made more sense to me because it was like, oh, they want someone who is going to, take care of their pet, make sure that their pet has the same routine, maybe pick up the mail, maybe water their plants while they're away. So for me, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm just transitioning again into someone's home while I travel. And I'm doing all the same things. I'm still working. Right. I'm going out, checking out the neighborhoods, doing my workout routines, things like that. So it was a pretty seamless transition, and it just kind of made sense. And I only had one house sit where they had cameras, and they communicate that, that we have cameras, where the cameras are placed. So like where you shouldn't be if you don't if you don't want to be seen, if you want your privacy. Yeah. But what they care about more is, making sure that their home is taken care of. It's how they left it upon your departure, and making sure, their pets are taken care of.
So no hidden cameras is what we're saying. Nobody has ever stumbled onto a hidden camera in a house.
No. No.
Everybody.
These are regular everyday people. I mean, not to say people don't have cameras in their home, but again, I think because you're on a platform where everyone is paying to get onto that platform, and you're being reviewed, you're looking for a good review. They're looking for a good review because they want to continue to have this service. You want to continue to travel. So I think the intent is you're both putting your best foot forward to make sure that this is an agreeable and workable relationship.
Yes. These are real people who live real lives, and there are easier ways to get secret footage of people than to leave your home, pack up all your stuff, and trust someone with your pet who you love, right? And go to another place. There's easier ways. If that was their aim, if what they wanted was footage of naked women, they have the internet. They can get that anywhere.
Yes.
You can get it anywhere.
They're not checking for me. They're not checking for a 55-year-old. I'm beautiful and everything, but I don't think it's that serious.
That's right. That's right. I'm in Puerto Rico, and before I left, so there's a wall. Oh, the wall is basically windows and doors, glass. And
Mm.
she said, nobody can see you in here. She's like, I even sometimes I'll be walking around here naked. Nobody can see you from the street. I'm like, I'm not worried about that. And so I'm glad. But if other house sitters have been worried about that, thank you for that. Yeah. So we don't. So, but Sim says, but are you checking for hidden cameras though? I've never stumbled onto a hidden camera. I have everyone point out. So she pointed out to me, she was actually charging their cameras when I got here. So they were sitting on the kitchen counter. And then she went in the little ball things. And then she put one where it can see the front door, one where it can see the side door, right where they belong. And there's no problem with that. I think the bigger situation is just trusting strangers. The bigger thing is just, can you or can you not trust the stranger? If you can't trust the stranger, you're not going to enjoy house sitting no matter how few cameras there are in the house. Right?
That's right. That's right. And then I'm glad you mentioned the placement of the cameras, because we had, right before we left, we actually house sat for this new client twice, and she has a camera at the front. She has a camera, I think, in the kitchen, but she was more worried about, having guests over. So I said, there will be no guests over here. This is a beautiful house sit in the mountains. And when we house sit in the mountains, it's just my husband and myself. We don't want any visitors because it's so beautiful and quiet. So I was like, there will be no visitors. Trust and believe. But yeah, that's all it was. I think she even maybe had a kitty cam, but it was downstairs in the basement. It's really nothing to worry about. I'm not doing anything, like I said, but taking care of someone's home and pet. That's all they're concerned about.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be like, let me leave the house so that the camera will show that I've actually left the house. So I'm the opposite of Felicia. You said they're going to see me putting on my coat and walking out the door to see the town. I am in the house, girl. When I house it, I'm in the house. And I'm like, well, I know they have a camera on the front door. They have a ring cam. I should probably leave at least once today so they know I'm alive, right?
There he is. That's on rainy days here in London, no, I'll go on our walks and everything. That's obligatory. We're supposed to do that. But on super rainy days, I've only had like two. I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Everything that I need is in walking distance. I am in the center of London.
Good.
So yeah, I'm in a very beautiful, I guess the British would say swish or posh neighborhood. So everything is right where I need it. That's it. So,
Wonderful.
yeah. Yeah.
And that's a 1 month. We're going to talk a little more specifically about getting longer house sits and getting better house sits. We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so in love with London. I knew it was going to be great, but I didn't know it was going to be this great.
Okay.
And this house is really, really big. And you have to be fit to live in this house because it's 4 floors.
Yeah.
So when I come home, I make sure, okay, do I have everything? Okay, now it's time to retire. And the dog and I, we go upstairs, and that's where we're going to stay.
Yes.
On the 3rd floor, I think. Yeah, the 3rd floor is where we hang out. But you have to be fit because there are lots and lots of stairs in this house. It's a wonderful house sit. It's central. People see me every day, so I'm beginning to network with people. And even the homeowners, before they went, they wanted to see me 2 days before going to Asia. Okay. And the reason why they wanted to do that, okay, they've already met me through FaceTime, but it's also a really good way to meet people before you begin house sitting.
Yeah.
And also they wanted to introduce me to some of their favorite people on the street.
Yeah.
And so now everybody knows. So they said, well, if anything happens with the key or something, this person has an extra key and here's their number. And it's been great.
Good. So you're in, is this your first time in London?
No.
Okay.
I've been here. Yeah, I used to live abroad a lot. I lived in Paris for 8 years, Sweden for 4, but when I was living in Paris, I would come to London quite a bit.
Okay. Good.
But this is the first time I've lived here, not just, a week here, a couple of days there.
Okay, yeah. Great. Ms. J, where have you house at? Tell us where you've been.
So far I have mostly house sit domestically. when I initially signed up, it was to actually do international house sits. But since I'm still in the process of saving up money to go on my long-term travel,
Yeah.
I've been to North Carolina, I've been to Houston, Austin, Oakland, San Francisco, of course, San Diego. That's where I actually started my first house sit.
Okay.
I'm trying to think where else. So kind of all over, wherever I needed to be. So I
Yeah.
travel either for food or for dance. So so it's like, oh, if I want to be in this city, let's see where there's a house sit. And if I book it, then I'm there. And I have the flexibility of staying as short or as long as I want to. Some house sits I drive to, some I fly to. So it all really depends on why I want to be in that particular city.
Good. I love that for Black women, and I love that for you. Listen, if there's a thing that you want to go to, I'm gonna try to be calm in this video, but if there's a thing that you want to go to, that's what I do too. I want to be in town for this particular event. Let me book
Mhm.
a house sit so I can be in that city for that event.
Yeah.
So you've covered the coast. You've been from North Carolina to San Francisco to Houston to your home to San Diego near where you live, right?
Mhm.
You've covered the the different places. Um, were these events that you were going to go to even if you didn't have a house sit, even if you had to pay out of pocket?
Kind of, sort of.
You count, I'm asking
Most likely, yes, but
calculating what you think you've saved by being a house sitter.
oh, tremendous amount. So I
Thousands.
do the whole points thing in terms of flights. So the first year that I did house sitting in 2020, I started in 2021, but then 2022 is when I really took off because I had just moved here to Southern California. So I was kind of getting settled in my place, getting my bearings, learning my own neighborhood. And then in 2022, I did about, I want to say about 6 or 7 houses. So I would say that I would look and see an event was happening that I wanted to go to. And if there was a house sit, and a lot of the houses were just like the timing was just perfect.
Yeah.
The event would be on a Friday and I would come in on that Monday and leave that following Monday or something like that. So would I have gone? Probably, but having free accommodations and then in addition being able to stay a little longer in the city and not feel rushed, possibly have a car because I have had house sits where they let me use their vehicle,
Yes.
or to get picked up from the airport or to be taken out to dinner. Like, just little things that have happened. It has just made the trip even that much sweeter. And in terms of accommodations, the I usually don't stay in a place less than a week. So usually I'm looking for 10 days onward up, even up to a month, if one is available. So do the math in terms of like if that was an Airbnb, especially in some cities like Austin or Houston, where you might be paying 200 a night, thousands,
Easy.
thousands, just for that one trip.
Thousands of dollars. So I want to be clear. House sits through trusted house sitters are unpaid. You get free accommodation. You're not getting pay, but what you're getting is free accommodation, something
That's
that you're probably going to pay for anyway. So it's like money. It's
Yeah.
like cash.
It truly is. I mean,
Yeah.
the same. We've saved thousands of dollars. There are certain people through trusted house sitters. Now we have become friends, and when let me tell you, my network is growing now, and they call, and especially if it's some of my favorite houses. Some of my favorite houses are in the countryside, and a couple of them have acres upon acres. I'm talking like 800 acres, some of them, yes. And to drive on that property and just wake up in the morning and hear nothing but birds and look out onto the land, knowing that we're the only people on this property, it's mind blowing how, it just gives you another idea of the different ways of how people live. It's a window to that, and it's also a way to connect with other people. I like strangers, and like you said, everyone has been vetted here. They've gone through a background check. I've gone through a background check. So I don't have to worry about if I'm sitting in the house of criminals. And they don't have to worry about if anyone has a criminal activity, or criminal past coming into their home, because, your home is your sacred space. So we've all been vetted, and to be, entrusted with, taking care of someone's animal and their home, I think, is huge. And we have saved thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That first international house sit, that was actually last summer. That was 2 weeks in northern London, which was great. It was beautiful. Northern London is really, really beautiful. And now for a month, there's no way. I mean, the hotels here, especially around this neighborhood, I mean, they're like, starting low end, 275, 300. Yeah.
Yep.
There's no way. I mean, for a month, you do the math.
That's right. That's right. So this is why I've been on a mission to get Black women house sitting, right? Because this is one of the reasons. You're going to spend money on a place to stay. You're going to spend money on a place to stay. Why not get some free in the mix, right? Why not get some free places to stay in the mix? Even if it's in your own city, right? Or if it's someplace super exotic, or someplace you want to return to, or someplace where your family is, or someplace where an event is happening. Instead of paying for that place, if you're a friend to animals, I think you should consider house sitting. I think that the money adds up real quick. That membership, sometimes people balk at the membership price and they're like 100, 150, 200, 250. I'm like, girl, one night in a hotel versus one night in a house sit, and you've made your money back. If you actually use your membership, you make your money back on the very first house sit.
That's right.
And that was the mindset going into it when I started Trusted House Sitters. I was like, well, you know what? If nothing else happens, I will just use it so that the membership pays for itself. The membership is paid for itself in dividends. Like I would have spent probably 15 times as much paying for the accommodations that I've stayed in over a course of a year versus just that one-time membership fee for the whole year.
Girl, because I wanted to go to St. Croix. This right now, I wanted to be in St. Croix. So I started looking for Caribbean house sits. I ended up in Puerto Rico because I got what I got, right? And I booked the house that I could book at the time. But I wanted to be in St. Croix, and I was looking at those places sweating. There was a studio that I waited till too late, right? It was already Thanksgiving when I decided I wanted to go to St. Croix for Christmas. There was a studio, Airbnb, no beach view. You could walk to the beach from there, but no beach view. And it wasn't the nicest place. And I think it was $3 per night, $350 per night. And I was like, let me find a house sit somewhere, right? So now I'm in the Caribbean house sitting. Instead of the beach, I'm in the jungle, as you may be able to see. Instead of beach in the beach, I'm in the jungle. But Puerto Rico is so small that they gave me the car and I'll get to the beach at some point. But yeah, I was doing the numbers, right? I was doing the math, and I was like, I was house sitting in California, and I had a little gap in between, and then I knew I wanted to get a house sit for Christmas, the Thanksgiving house sit, and I knew I had a gap in between, so I paid for a place to stay for that week in between, and then I was like, I want the free. Give me the free.
You're spoiled.
It's real hard to go back.
It's like, oh, I gotta pay for accommodations. Do I have to? There's tons of houses out there. Let me go see if there's a house there.
Felicia, you're muted.
Oh, there are too many house sits out here for me to be paying accommodation. Now I'm like, ooh, hotels. I don't. No, now I'll do hotel travel content, because that's what I'm also doing. So I, just like Ms. J and of course Stephanie, I work remotely. That's, that gives me the ability to house sit anywhere in the world. But I'm in London. I'm taking advantage of introducing myself to hotels that I think would be great for women over 50 who want a little bit more quiet, refined, etc., slow travel. And so it's, I'm also, I'm sightseeing, I'm doing the things that I want to do, but I'm also networking. So, house sitting also is a great way to network, to really connect with a place through the people. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Connections,
opportunities.
we're used to online conversation and networking, but connection really happens in person. It's really like you're giving yourself such an advantage if you can be, if there's a place that you want something to happen for you, if there's a place where you want to find a nice apartment, if there's a place where you want to get hotel, you want hotel people to know you and invite you to things, or event people to know you and invite you to things. Those connections really happen in person. So being able to get to that place and make those connections face to face really is helpful. We do things online, but the in-person connections are probably 10 times or 100 times more
That's right.
fruitful, right?
I think so. I think so. I mean, yes, I love social media. I've been living abroad, working abroad, thriving abroad before the internet. I'm 55. So there was no internet when I left the country, my first plane ride when I was 20 years old, moving to Sweden.
Uh-huh.
But now the great thing is that now there are so many ways to travel. And then, I come across, thanks to YouTube, thanks to technology, a woman named Stephanie Perry. And I'm like, oh, what? I like to travel. That's all I do is travel. And oh, I can save money. So if this Black woman says that this is what she likes to do and, she saves a lot of money, I can try it. And that first house sit, I was like, oh yeah, we're this is what we're doing. I told my husband, this is what we're doing. And he was all for it because, of course we're saving money.
Yes.
So he's not gonna object to that.
Who would turn that away? Who would turn that away?
Exactly.
Questions from the chat. Hello, Igami. Did you both personally have experience with your own pets before joining Trusted House Sitters? So let's talk about the pet sitting part of house sitting. Most house sits are pet sits, not all, but most house sits are pet sits. So had you had pets before, or how did you get the experience and the comfort with taking care of people's pets?
Hmm.
So I did have a pet. I had a pet in college. I had a cat, and I do mainly cat house sits because they're low maintenance. You get a little bit more of your schedule back, not having to walk the dog at a certain time. So I was more comfortable with cats. I've done both. I've done dogs, I've done cats. I even did a guinea pig in one house sit. So for me, I'm comfortable around animals. And I started house sitting with my daughter actually, who loves animals. So it was beneficial for both of us to be able to house sit together.
Good. And your daughter's how old was she when you started house? She was a grown up, right?
Yeah, she's a grown up. So my daughter was 18, 19 when we started, when we did our first house, and she had just graduated high school. And I put her onto my profile. It was communicated beforehand that this would be a dual house. So she's still on my profile, but she's in college right now, so she doesn't do a lot of house sits with me. But if she ever wants to have the option to do it with me or to create her own account and do it in the future, she'll have that experience to say, hey, I started house sitting in 2021.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I love hearing that. So you house sit with your daughter, Felicia house sits with her husband. I love hearing that it gives you an opportunity to spend time with your people, right? So I travel solo, and I talk a lot about being a solo traveler, but that's not the only way. And it's really nice that house sitting gives you an opportunity to be in a place with someone you love, in a new environment, in a nice city, trying it out together. I love that is another thing that house sit does for Black women. I think it's really it's a relationship builder, I think. Am I right about, how do you feel about this, Felicia?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the couple, and they took me out to dinner. They said, can you come 2 days before? We want to take you out to dinner. We want to introduce you to the neighbors, etc. We're friends now. We're friends now. And, I do daily, of course, not checkups, but, I give them daily what we're doing, always, Hyde Park, which is one of the most beautiful parks in London, is a minute away from this house.
Oh, you are in a good neighborhood, girl.
I told you this is a luxury house, a neighborhood. This is me right here. I love it. And so I give them, maybe 3 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day, checkups. Okay, this is what we're doing. He's sleeping, etc. This, we're having fun, but we're friends now. And I said, this has been an amazing house. And they're like, look, our dog looks very happy with you. You can house it here for us anytime you want.
Mhm.
That is a connection. And they probably know other people who have dogs. And so the networking, on this level, on a higher level, begins. But don't discount. Um, I'm not saying that you are discounting. You can, everything starts locally, and that's the advice that I followed from you, Stephanie.
Yeah.
That local house sit is how you get your foot in the door. And our first local house sit, we are based in Virginia. The first one was in Northern Virginia. Beautiful retired couple. Do you know they still contact us to this day just to say hello?
Yeah.
Just to say hello. So we have, through house sitting, we've expanded our network. If I think of something that, my husband works in a certain domain, I'm like, you know what? I think, why don't you tell so and so? And the next thing you know, that's an opportunity for my husband. So it's relationship building. You're you're in someone's private home, and that means something. But you're providing a service that people usually pay for.
Yeah.
They pay for,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, but
It costs a lot of money to board a pet while you're on vacation.
Mhm.
And the pet is stressed. Sometimes some pets get stressed out by
they
it.
get sick,
Yeah.
they get sick from being around other types of dogs. So they
Uh-huh.
love it. They told me this morning, they said, look, anytime you want to come here, let us know. And you got this house sit. So boom, I have a beautiful luxury house sit in London anytime I want. And that can happen for anybody that's listening to this live right now.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Had you had I skipped over you with the other question though. Had you had pets before? What was your experience taking care of animals?
I had my first doggy when I was a little kid, and that was the last time I had a pet. However, I have pet sat for friends, for families, and that, when I was setting up my profile, that's the history of my history with dogs and cats. That's how. And my husband has had a lot of house sits with cats. I'm not a cat person. I'm a dog person. I'm like a little bit more active. But what you said about cats, is that you do gain back your time because you don't have to go on a walk.
Yeah.
And yeah, this dog has his schedule, and I stick to that schedule because I respect the homeowner. However, yeah, I've house sat for friends, tons of friends. So that's how I started. I created that profile. I got them to write me a rave review because they
Yeah.
were happy with, me sitting for their pet. And that's it. Knock on wood, we only have 5-star reviews with trusted house sitters. So yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Wonderful.
And for people in the comments who are like, oh, well, how much does it cost? Or do you, you don't get paid? How do you make, if you're only looking at it from the money aspect, and again, money is important. We have jobs
Yeah.
online that allow us to be able to do this lifestyle. But if you're only looking at it from the money aspect, you are missing the total value of using trusted house sitters as a platform and as a way to travel. There's the value of the experience of being in a new city at any point of time that you want, the connections that you make with people, not just people from the house sit, but the people in the neighborhoods that you're staying in. If you're looking at it from just that one aspect, you're missing the big picture.
You,
I don't
yes.
know. I don't know how else to,
Yeah.
to say that.
You're right.
It's not to sound harsh, but you're really missing the big picture because one, you have time away to explore, to make new connections, to maybe discover new hobbies, new restaurants. Um, the value of trusted house sitters is immeasurable, and it cannot be quantified into just an exchange of money. It just really can't.
That's right. That's
I
right.
think I often think that I do a disservice because I talk so much about the money, because money is a reason that so many people can't don't live their dreams, right? I talk so much about the money and the free accommodation and what that means that I think I do have done some people a disservice, because they have people who are like, well, I ain't worried about the money. Then they have missed out on some other things too. The people that you really face-to-face and in-person relationship building is important still in this day and age. And the people that you meet when you're house sitting, like, how else would you have met that person? This man, so I was in town for FinCon. I was in Atlanta, as y'all may know, for FinCon a little while ago, and I was in the hotel where they were hosting the conference. It's a financial conference for people in the finance and personal finance and blogging space. And he was a speaker at FinCon. And apparently when he said his name, he thought I should recognize his name. So he must be a pretty big wig, right? If I wanted to have a connection, y'all know I segregate my, I only have connections with Black women. Okay. I'm doing business with Black women. I'm partnering with Black women. But if I wanted to connect with him and his business, how else would I have done that? Except that I'm staying in his house. And he just happened to mention that he was recording a podcast and talked about his business. He's a lawyer for a startup. And he asked me what I do. And I just laughed. And I was like, I hardly ever answer the question when people ask me, but that's me. That's a me thing. If I wanted to network with these people, how else would I have been able to form that relationship? And then people with, people who you have house set for, they know other people, they connect with other people. It's a wonderful way to build relationships. We're in a deficit, like a relationship deficit, human beings are. And so you're right, house sitting is a way to form relationships with people, friendships, maybe business relationships, right? If you're a freelancer, who knows whose house you'll be in, right? But also just connection with people that I don't know how you would have done that otherwise. I don't know how you would have connected with these people otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I think the homeowners of this particular house, they are very, very interesting people. They've had, several businesses, and, I'm like, maybe possible mentor. And they're like, yeah, ask away. They love, being asked questions and things like this. We're friends now, as far as I'm concerned. As far as they're concerned, they're like, look, you can come here anytime you want. Let us know. They are in Asia right now, enjoying themselves on their vacation. And they're still taking time out of their day to say, hey, don't forget, in this neighborhood here in Camden, there's this. And, if you need me to introduce you to that person, because, they have special, special restaurants that, might be hard to get into or something. They're like, hey, ask away. We'll do, anything to help you or whatever. Everybody, and that's everyone. That's local, that's national, that's international. So, and like you said, I really do believe people don't really know how to be around each other anymore. And I think house sitting, like you said, is not just, the homeowners that I've become friends with, but the people around. Just before this live, I have been wanting to go to this cheesemonger, most beautiful, beautiful cheese shop in this neighborhood. And they were open. And I'm like, wait a minute, I got 45 minutes. And they said, hey, we're doing a pork tasting. Would you like to come in? I said, well, you know what? I'm a travel content creator. And then I said, hey, can I do a YouTube, please come in. We booked it. And to teach me about cheese. I lived in Paris for 8 years, and I'm not a cheese person at all, but this is an opportunity to meet some people. And the owner was there, and he's like, yeah, please come by. And because this is free advertising for them.
Yeah.
So who knows? So yeah, it's wonderful. The people that you meet, local, nationally, and internationally, it's really incredible. It's just incredible.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's amazing. Yeah, if you want, like, I'm going to say this again. If you want something to happen for you in a place, I think you have to get to the place, right? Get to the place, meet the people so that they can go to work for you. People people will network for you. That's what networks do. Networks network. But you got to build the network. And I think in person is really, really valuable. Really, it's a good shortcut, right? Instead of taking weeks, months, years to build your network online, you can do it in person.
Yeah.
So can we ask about more about your husband's experience, Felicia? You said that he was into house sitting because it's going to save you money. So he was in on it.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to save us money. So it's just fun. I have been solo traveling mostly all of my life, just like you. And, we got married. We've been together since 2017. We got married almost 5 years ago almost. And when we discovered this thing, this is something for us to do together. And we get to discover now it's different for me because now I'm not, solo. I'm solo on this particular house that he couldn't take a month off, even though he has the time. He's like, no, we just got a new president. I'm not trying to, I need to be here. He says, but you go ahead and you enjoy London and there you go. So, but this gives us an opportunity to do things together, to discover a city together. We had a wonderful house sit in Porto. And that was my second time being in Porto, Portugal. That was his first time. He passed the vibe check because we were actually we did Porto for 5 days before our 2-week trusted house sitters house sit in London. That was last summer. And I said, okay, wait a minute. This is a long time. This is, we've been to Montreal together, but that was like maybe 4 or 5 days. But this is going to be us together for 3 weeks. I don't know. He passed the vibe check. I said, okay, homie, you and I can do this together. And that was really our first long-term house sit together. And we did it internationally. He's my partner in travel right now. So, but if we can do it together, we do it together. If we can't, I take it or he takes it.
Have you had either of you, because Ms. J, you've house sat with your daughter, have either of you seen has it been extra difficult to house sit with another, to get booked? I don't mean to do the house sitting. I mean to get a yes. Has it been extra difficult to get a yes as a duo compared to as a solo house sitter?
No, actually quite the opposite, because my daughter is on my profile. I've had people, even though when I do my initial introduction, and I will put that, due to my daughter's, work and school commitments, this will be a solo house sit. Some of them are disappointed. They're like, oh, I think that's so cool that your daughter does it with you. Or, we have this, if they have the space, they like, I think, having 2 people sometimes, especially if it's a couple or if it's a mother and a daughter type situation, or, father, daughter, however it works out in your family. Sometimes they're disappointed that she's not with me. So, like I have one couple and they were like, oh, we have a room for your daughter and, make sure you're really comfortable. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a solo house sit, and they were like, oh, we would have loved to meet her. So I haven't come across that issue. And usually if somebody only wants one person in the house sit, they'll mention that in the posting. So, and you just know, okay, I'm not going to apply for this house sit, but usually it's not been an issue in the 3 years that I've been on the platform.
Good.
Yeah. And it hasn't been a problem for us either, because my husband and we are in the profile picture. Mm-hmm. So they already know what they're getting. And, like you said, you have to read the house sit description very carefully. I've come across house sits where this was one in France. They said, we're vegans, so we don't want, they were very specific about you can't bring meat in this house. I mean, they were very specific. I'd never seen anything like that before.
I've seen that a few times. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've seen that, but I think you're right. Usually they do like a couple to stay, not to say that you can't, because I'm solo on this one. I've been solo on certain house sits, but it's nice. It's really nice traveling with someone that you love, and the both of you are discovering all the things that you need to do in the house. And, it's a little, certain things are different here in London, but not too much. It's just been great. It's just been great. They do have, and this is very rare, when they were giving me a tour of the house, they have each, there is 4 floors. So there's a floor for the laundry room has a floor. So there's a washer and a dryer. They said, Felicia, you've been living in London and you know how dryers are very rare to have in the house. I said, yes, because sometimes it's a combination,
Yeah.
and those don't work.
I don't like them either.
Oh my God. I said, thank you, God. So, I'm back in Europe, but now I actually can dry my clothes and not hang them out like I used to when I lived in Paris or go to the laundromat.
Uh-huh.
There aren't any laundromats nearby in this.
Yeah, not there. No, they have a maid. They are a housekeeper. They have a housekeeper. Yeah.
Yes.
You're in
They have
housekeeper territory.
Oh, yes. There's no laundromats around here. So, yeah.
So the question that New Rainbow asked a couple of times is, what online jobs do you have? You don't need to tell us what online jobs do you have, but were you already working remotely? How long have you worked remotely? And yeah.
So I've been working online since 2019. So prior to all the shutdowns and everything that happened with Rona, I was already working. I was living in the DC area at the time, but I was working remote and I was committed to not going back into anyone's office. So, and that has been the case for these past 5 years. But I'm happy to share what I do. I do IT project management. So I have a job that I don't have to be in the office to do it. And I can do it for big companies, for government agencies, for small businesses, entrepreneurs.
And the employer you have today is like, you can be anywhere in the world, not just remote from your home. Because some people call work from home remote. I guess it is remote, but they mean work from home. But your company is like,
I can be anywhere in the continental United States. So I can't be international. Okay. However, when I am planning to travel internationally next year, and I am doing a lot of that through Trusted House Sitters.
Okay, good. Okay, that's right, because you're working on
my sabbatical.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. Listen, the YouTube is a public platform. Okay. Do you say okay? But you can say that you're working on a sabbatical on YouTube. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I work in education. My last international job where I had to be in person was in China. I was initially hired to teach French at this top school in Beijing. And then they conveniently switched it to, oh, well, you know what? We see that you used to teach English and da-da-da. Well, we need an English teacher. I'm like, okay. And so I moved to Beijing, and that was my in-person job. And then I got out a week before the COVID happened. I made it out in time because they actually had a lockdown, not like us here in the US. And then I got a job online working. I used to manage 70 universities on the East Coast. I love study abroad. I'm also a study abroad advocate. I think every American student needs to study abroad. So I managed some HBCUs as well. And that was wonderful. I love education. And right now, so I left that. And I was kind of soured on the way sort of Black students are, or they don't know, or there's no real advocacy to increase those numbers for Black students to study abroad. And I'm just one person, I can't do it all. So I said, no, you need to do something else. And now I work with French business executives online. That's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
So I like to say that I'm really location independent, because what I do, I can do it here in London, or I can do it back home in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Friends, anyone watching, if you would love to house sit, and you would love to house sit all over, and you don't want a job that is restricting you, then Libria Jones is the person who helps Black women find remote jobs. And she means truly remote jobs, not just work from home. So if you're like, yes, I can house sit locally. or yes, I can house sit on vacations, and that's awesome. But I would also like to take this thing to another level and just be wherever. If there's a 1 month house sit in London, I want to be able to take it. If there's a Christmas house sit in Puerto Rico, I want to be able to take it. If you're interested in finding truly remote work, Libria Jones is the resource. Okay, she is the founder of the Quit Commuting world, right? Quit commuting. She does a quit commuting community. There's a quit commuting conference. But Libria Jones helps people find remote work using the skills that they already have, or maybe adding a certification or something, you know. But if that's holding you up, don't let it. Okay, don't let it. You work on your plan. Ms. J told you she's working on her plan. She's working on her plan to take a sabbatical so that she doesn't have to be anywhere in particular. So she's freed up to be anywhere in the world. So if those are two different approaches that can work together or separately, right? One, listen, I'm leaving this job for a period of time and I'm going to travel the world. Two, I have a job that lets me travel the world while still working. Now, being a remote worker anywhere in the world is not always fun and games, because the internet can be unpredictable in some places. Time zones. I personally don't like to work on the West Coast, Ms. J, because being 3 hours behind Eastern time is really hard for me. I don't know why. I just can't adjust to it. I want to be ahead, not behind.
It's definitely hard. I'm still adjusting. So my current contract that I'm on, it's on East Coast hours. So yeah, so it's hard, but you know, I do get off early, so I have more of my day.
Okay.
You know, so I guess that's a trade-off, but anybody who knows me knows I am not a morning person. It is not in my ministry.
Oh, wow.
So, but you adjust, you know, you adjust however you need to adjust to the situation. So when I go back on the East Coast and I do a house sit, you know, I get to sleep in a little bit later, you know. You make it work. You make it work how you need to make it work, you know, regardless of where you're at, you know, what situation you're in. You find what's suitable for you, you know.
That's
so it's
right.
like I'm like, okay, I know I am about to go, you know, in to the East Coast, or if I'm in Central time zone, you know, I just make the adjustments to my day.
That's right.
That's right.
Toysha, I think it's Toysha, says, I'm in education looking to house it during breaks. Also in VA, how far advanced will I need to look to guarantee? I think you're just saying to get booked. I think people who work in education are uniquely qualified for house sitting because travel season and school break season tend to coincide. People are traveling during the Christmas holidays. People are traveling during spring break. People are traveling during summers. And so teachers and people who work in education are available, even though your job is not remote, right? You are available for house sitting. House sitters. So one of the reasons that Trusted House Sitters gave me this discount is that their inventory of house sits far outweighs their inventory of house sitters for Christmas 2020.
Oh yes, that's right.
They're making a push. They're making a push, right? They're like, they started a little before Thanksgiving. They're like, get yourself booked. So I would say to most people, most of the time, you're going to book your house sit about 6 weeks before that actual event, right? So if it's Christmas, if it's spring break, they start posting their house sits about 6 weeks before. Does that sound right to y'all? Or have you seen something different? Or do you?
I think so. About 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still seeing house sits for Christmas.
Pop up. Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
I'm seeing a lot of last minute. I've gotten a couple of invitations to house sit because my profile has been so established. So it varies. You know, I know that there have been times where I've looked at house sits a week out because I wanted to go to a particular event and got booked for a house sit. So it really is going to depend on what city you're trying to be in, because some cities are more popular. Being in California, I feel like all up and down California, you're going to find tons of house sit. I've seen a lot of house sits in the UK. I'm trying to think So some cities are more popular than others. So if you're trying to go to a popular destination, chances are you're going to have a good chance to be able to book a house sit. So it's going to vary.
That's true. That's true. And just this morning, but this was an American house that they want someone to be in their house. I think it was tomorrow, starting tomorrow until New Year's Eve. I said, no, no. But yeah, people are still looking for people for New Year, for Christmas, for New Year's Eve. But I just got that one early this morning. I'm like, no, honey, I'm in London. Thank you. But thanks for reaching out. Thanks for reaching out. But and that's another good thing. Based on your reputation on this with trusted house sitters, people will reach out to you. So I'm not even applying, but they see my profile and they see the the 5-star reviews, and they will say, "Hey, I don't know what where you are, if you're on a house sit right now, etc. But we have these dates. Can you come and sit for us?" People will reach out, like if they haven't found anyone to their liking. They will start, saying, okay, well, who, okay, they look good. Let me reach out to them. And hopefully they will say yes. People do reach out. Homeowners will reach out to you and ask if you can sit. And that's still happening.
That's how I got my very first house sit. I was in Delaware. I had paid for my membership, but I convinced myself that it wouldn't work, right? Where in my world, people are still very segregated, right? I hadn't been inside of a white person's house except for one coworker in probably 10 years. Like seriously, right? I don't think Andy, I'll say Andy had a pool and she used to invite us over all the time. I've been to Andy's house several times. But and one I had my work husband. I went to his parents' house for a weekend one time, right? But other than that, I couldn't name a white person's house I had been in since I left the Army. And so I was like, I don't think this is going to work. I'm a Black woman. I'm going to apply. I'm going to put my picture up. I'm going to see what happens. And a woman in Delaware contacted me first. And she was like, listen, I have a Disney World emergency. Okay. I got to go to Disney World at the last minute. Can you take care of my cats? And that's what broke the seal for me, right? That's what got me into actually house sitting, even though I'd already had my membership. And it was because my profile said I was in Wilmington, Delaware, and she was in Wilmington, Delaware. And it made me easier to reach out to. I had a wonderful letter of reference. I had no reviews, of course, but I had a wonderful letter of reference who was like, not only do I trust Stephanie with my pets, I trust her with my kids, right? And so that was a nice review. I mean, a nice reference that got me my first reach out, that got me my first house sit. But yeah.
And whether when I get those invitations, whether I can do it or not, I always respond because, and I always say, please consider me for, your next house sit, because that's how you build your network. And that house sit can be as close as, here in Southern California, or it could be in another state, because you just never know when that opportunity might come again and you're able to do it, and who you meet and, your availability at that time. So regardless of whether you can do it or not, if you get an invite, respond.
Yes.
Respond and leave the door open.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because you never know. You never know. And it's just nice. It's just very courteous as well. And people remember that. People love that. They're like, oh, wow, thank you so much for responding. Hey, have a great house sit. Hopefully, I can get you on the next one or something. Yeah, they will say that to you as well.
That's right. That's right. So the thing, a lot of the questions, even in this chat, and a lot of the apprehensions that people might feel can be assuaged or answered by just remembering that these are human people, right? They're human people. If they have pets, they love those pets down. Okay. They love that dog down. I'm house sitting for Chai. Chai is there. They went to their kids' graduation in Colorado. One of the kids is graduating from college. But listen, Chai is the baby. Okay. That boy, he gonna be all right. But they are concerned about Chai. They are concerned about the dog. They're people who love their pets and want to make sure that things go pretty smoothly. They also, I have a vested interest in making sure that you enjoy your time in their house.
Yes.
Because they paid for a membership and they want to be able to use it again and again.
And they want good reviews as well.
Yes.
Yes.
We review them as well. We are reviewed for our house sitting, but at the end of this house sit, I will give them a review. So everyone that I've sat for, like I said, I only sit beautiful houses and, with, lovely people. Let me tell you, everything I arrive, they introduce me to this person, this neighbor, everything, help yourself, all the food, whatever that you need is here, etc. They leave a nice booklet of all the, the nearby, cafes or whatever. Yeah, they make sure that I am comfortable, and I love those house sits. Most of the house sits have cleaning services that come, and I love those.
Listen, that is part of my search criteria when I'm looking at houses.
yes.
I'm like, do I think they have a housekeeper or not?
Yeah.
If I assume they have a housekeeper, you can also assume that she's going to continue to come while they're gone, because you're not going to fire your housekeeper because you go on vacation.
That's
so
right.
A lot of times, if they have a housekeeper, she's still going to come. May not come every week. They may knock her down to every other week.
That's
but
right.
if it looks like they have you can see in a picture, you know what that looks like. If it looks like they have a housekeeper, that I'm moving them higher up on the list. Swimming pool. Do you have your own criteria? What are your criteria? I love a good swimming pool or hot tub. I prefer 2 dogs to 1, but that's just me. This is 1 dog and she's very good. But a lot of times 1 dog can be super clingy, because these are people who baby their pets a lot. So I like 2 dogs over 1, but I'll prefer cats any day, because the cats don't care about you. They don't care about you.
Wow.
And I like, of course, I like a longer house sit as opposed to a shorter house sit, but sometimes I'll do a shorter one when I feel like it, if I, want to change up. And I would like people in their profile who seem like they're going to be warm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people are very transactional, and that's okay. I may still house sit for you, but I really like it when it seems like they're going to be pretty warm.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things I look for in the profile. Do you have like special things that you look for?
I look for a beautiful house. There's a certain aesthetic that I like, and when I see that aesthetic, boom. Okay, where is that? I'll sometimes just look for, sometimes I look at trusted house sitters for decorating ideas. We bought our house when we got married. We bought a house, and I'm like, ooh, that's nice. Oh, okay, well, yeah, just to get some decorating ideas. But in order for me to be comfortable somewhere, I have to, when I look at that photo, beautiful photos, I have to see a beautiful, clear, bright photos that tells me that there's natural light coming in. We all do social media, and I'm doing social media. I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, etc. Can I be comfortable in this house doing that, in addition to all of the things that I, of course, first and foremost, do for the house sit? But I like a beautiful space, and there's a certain aesthetic that I like. And when I see that, I'm on top of it. And I said, and that depends on the city, London, this is a British company. So all of the houses are concentrated mostly in Great Britain, of course, London, but there are houses in France. I look for, if I'm going to be in the city, I look for a top city. If I want some quiet, if I'm looking for quiet, if I want to, concentrate on my work, etc., I love country house sits. And if it's a country house sit or a mountain house sit, I want lots of land around me. Okay. And there are house sits that are waiting with those house sits are there. Mm-hmm. So whatever you're into, it's there. Become a house sitter and you will see. Yeah, like you said, beautiful photos of beautiful houses. And I also look for cute dogs. I'm sorry. If your dog needs injections and all that, I don't do that stuff. This particular dog, he has a little, I have to give him a little eye drop, which is nothing. And he's so damn sweet about it every morning, in the morning, and before
he's good with eye drops?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good. Amazing.
He's good. He's so good. I was so surprised. And he's a beautiful Jack Russell. He's 13 years old, but you would think he was 3 years old. He still has that Jack Russell mentality. He's, vivacious, we get along great because we're both very active. But I look for cute dogs, beautiful homes, because usually in a beautiful home, there's going to be a cleaning service. So I don't even have to worry about that. But yeah, depending on if I want quiet, I look for mountain or, just lots and lots of land. Country houses are the best. City houses, it's London, it's, major cities, but a certain aesthetic.
Jay, what do you look for? I agree with the cute dog thing too. I am a cute pet snob. I'll be like, hairless cats. No offense to those of you who love hairless cats. You love
No.
what you love, okay? But I cannot. I cannot. I'll be like, that house is amazing, but that hairless cat, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, no. I do cats and I can't do the hairless ones. So those freak me out a little bit.
That's
so as far as what I look for, of course, usually I am working, so internet is key, because I'm usually in a lot of meetings, so I need to make sure the internet is working, as well as a dedicated workspace. So I like I'm in my home office setup, but I like being able to have some type of desk set up, and I'm not just sitting on somebody's kitchen table. Okay. Like I said, I only do cats primarily. I have done dogs, but I will 1 to 2 cats, usually no more than that. Just because the amount of hair that could be around, it leaves the question what I'm walking into. What else? So it all depends. If I'm flying somewhere, I'm looking for a house sit that provides a vehicle or is in a place where public transportation is really good. So I'm looking for walkability. I'm looking for good public transportation system, or preferably a vehicle. I've had, I believe, 3 house sits where they let me use their vehicle.
Yeah.
And that's really, really helpful. And then, if I'm selected to be interviewed, and, with that being said, it's a mutual interview. So I'm interviewing them, they're interviewing me. I'm asking all the questions that, I may have concerns about. I know some people in the comments mentioned about like smells. I'm very, very sensitive to smells. I cannot be in a no smoking home. And I ask that question. So if you have particular concerns, and you're considering a house sit, you do have the opportunity to ask that question to the owners. And and if it was a smoking house, I would say no. I would absolutely say no. Yeah, because I know my sensitivities, to it. So, and I know that's not going to be comfortable. So I'm not about to go into a situation where I'm going to feel, uncomfortable or weary and things like that. And then of course I'm also looking at the pictures to see like how cleanly is their house, how nice is it, does it look comfortable, does it look inviting. I like cozy, so so it can be luxury, it could be nice, but somewhere where it feels like, okay, you can kind of put your feet up a little bit, not that I'm putting my feet on someone's furniture, but just somewhere where I can feel relaxed and feel like I can be myself. And I'm always looking for like my own living space. I don't like to be in someone else's bedroom. So usually a space that has their own guest room or second bedroom. Mm-hmm. It just, I don't know why that feels weird to me, but it does. So I usually look for a space that has a guest room, a dedicated space for guests, and not someone's bedroom. Because you will get, it could be someone's studio or somebody's 1-bedroom apartment, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll change the sheets and all that stuff, and I'm just like, no, I'd rather just have a guest room.
Yeah, that's not a thing I've ever asked. I just recently even started asking, like, where will I sleep? Like, it's not I'm like, oh, I'm sleeping in your room? Okay. Right.
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. As long as the bed is comfortable, I don't care. Yeah.
And everyone has their different preferences. So, if there's something that you're like, yeah, I want to be by a beach, then look for the ones that are by a beach. You can filter it out that way. Or if you want to be in the mountains, or if you want to, it has to have a pool and a hot tub. or for me, access to a vehicle. It really depends on what I'm going to that city for, because they can vary, but usually I'm looking for definitely Wi-Fi, definitely dedicated workspace, no more than 2 cats, and warm environment.
Yeah. Okay, good, good. Yeah, so you see we have different criteria, different things that we look at, but we all enjoy it, right? We all enjoy doing it.
Oh yeah, love it. I
So
love
And
the
it.
read the reviews.
read the reviews, read the
Read the
reviews.
reviews.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Let
Despite
other,
what the pictures look like,
that's right.
read the reviews.
Let the other house sitters vet that person for you, right?
Right.
You don't have to go in from, you're not starting from zero if you have reviews to read. I book house sits where they're like effusive with their praise. I book house sits where they came back and house sat for them again and again. I love to see that in a profile. When the
Mhm.
same house sitter came back and back and back, that tells me they loved it, right?
Yep.
Even though their words say they loved it, their actions double say that they loved it. I want to say a word about the vehicle. When you look on trusted house sitters, you'll see some people when they list their house sit, they'll mark the box that says sitter needs a vehicle. Don't take that at face value. I've had house sit clients in San Francisco say sitter needs a vehicle. I'm like, this is the birthplace of Uber, right? Like, you don't need a vehicle in San Francisco. If anyone in the world knows that you don't need a vehicle here, I've seen it in like one of the suburbs in the UK, and I'm like, there's good transportation here, right? I can take the train to get here, and I can take the bus around, or I can walk the grocery store. The grocery store was literally like 3 blocks away. So even though it says sitter needs a vehicle, do a little bit of your own research, right? Do a little bit of Googling around to see what that neighborhood is like. If just because it says sitter needs a vehicle doesn't mean that you need to disregard it because you're not going to have a vehicle there. I just want to say that.
Yeah.
Keith, hi, says, have you seen oversaturation yet? No, ma'am. Trusted house sitters is the supply of house sits that need a house sitter far outweighs the supply of house sitters, so much so that trusted house sitters, instead of my 25% discount, they gave me a 30% discount through December 16th. Okay. No, indeed. There is a supply. There is a supply of house sits.
Yeah.
If you're in a place so y'all have already mentioned California, Northern and Southern California. You've already mentioned London, the UK, but in particular London being a place where there's plenty of house sits.
I check it every day because I'm like, well, do I want to come back in March? Let me see. And some people are, posting for February, for March. That's my birthday. So I said, oh. And then, of course, I will check with the homeowners here because they just told me this morning, you can come back whenever you want. So I already know that they don't like being here in London for the winter.
Oh.
I know, Stephanie, that you are queen boycott winter. I'm not a winter person, right? I'm more spring, fall.
Okay.
But if there's a month-long house sit in London for the winter time, sign me up because it's less crazy people going around. People are, I think, in a better mood because, it's the Christmassy. Like there's so many Christmas markets here. I'm not like heavy into Christmas, but there's a beautiful Christmas market on the Thames. I'm going to go there. It might be tomorrow night. I don't know. But
wow.
I love it. And like you said, I don't know why just like you boycott winter. I now know that I love London in the winter time. And I'm using, now I'm saying, instead of moving abroad, like, just putting all your eggs in one basket, this is, to me, the new way to move abroad. Because if you are interested in, say, London or, other places, you can move there, but do it part-time. That gives you, I think, the best of both worlds. So if you're thinking about maybe moving abroad, house sit first. That's what I'm telling people to do. House sit first. You will have the luxury of being in someone's home. You will now I think it'll give you a better opportunity to see what your budget is going to realistically look like, because I don't dine out all the time. London is a very expensive place. I'm
Yeah.
still going out and, experiencing different restaurants and stuff, but not a lot. I'm cooking in a beautiful kitchen here, and that saves me money as well.
Yes.
So there's a time for me to go out. I love cafes, so I don't mind spending money on coffees in beautiful spaces like Claridge's, one of the world's top hotels. They have a beautiful cafe, and then they have an art they have an art space. But coming back home with groceries, I feel like I live here, and I've only been here 2 weeks. I said, "Oh no, this is where we're going to possibly live part-time because this is doable." We both have online jobs, so if we can do this 1 month at a time, and who knows, it might be 2 months. I've seen house sits in France 6 months.
That's right.
And in the UK, you can be here for 6 months without a visa.
Hmm.
So guess what? It's going to be easier for, I speak French, so I'm looking to, at first we were looking to retire in France. And now I'm like, it'll be easier for him to, work here in London. So let's see if we can maybe do 3 house sits here, but 3 months of house sitting.
Hmm.
And then we go back to the States. I don't know. I think you started um, Black women house sitting, and now it's time to get creative, like
Yes.
really, really create. Make house sitting work for you and your lifestyle.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
can
So
find
you
it
said
any
the new
kind of
way to
way.
move abroad. I think so, right? I think so. I think that there are already women who are living. So there are women who, especially like in California or in DC, who just don't have their own home. They just house sit back to back to back to back, right?
Yep.
So that's been a new way to live in the U.S. It's already a new way to travel. I think it is also a new way to move abroad. I think that makes sense to me, right? If you know you want to be out of the country for X number of months out of the year, do you, some people might want their own place and they know that for sure. But it took me 8 years to know that I wanted my own place. I stayed in other people's homes and Airbnbs and hotels for 8 years before I wanted my own place, right?
Oh, you know that. Okay.
Yeah, house sitting really filled that need for me. It really kept me, I was fine, right? I was fine with that. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I don't live in the US, right? Even though I don't live anywhere. I don't live in the US. I left the US in 2015. It's been a new way for me to move abroad or to leave the country.
That's
Just
right.
walk around. Me and my suitcases, we go wherever.
That's right. Me and my carry-on. Yeah, I'm
No,
doing 1 month. I'm doing 1 month, and I've only taken a carry-on.
that's amazing because you need sweaters in London. And how many jackets? How many coats? What's going on here?
One beautiful J. Crew parka that has the thinsulate. Oh, you
Okay.
see me, if you follow me on TikTok, you see me in my coat, and then I just bought this wonderful hat from this lovely Black man. His name is Dexter from South Africa. And
Okay.
he sold me my first Baker Boy. If you look at Peaky Blinders, those hats. And little did I know that Christie's is an icon in the hat industry. He was like, "Oh yeah, we did the hats for Godfather, we did the hats for Peaky Blinders, and now you have your hat." And here's another contact. I even have French, the people I teach, I have a couple of them. They're like, "Well, they're trying to immigrate to Canada." And I said, "Well, look, why don't you come over and test your English? I'm here. Let's go out, and let's go to a very nice restaurant. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to let you talk, etc." They've booked. They're coming over here. They're staying in a beautiful hotel. And that could be, I don't know, it could be a little business or something for me. I don't know, but take advantage of, while you're house sitting, you can create a business or a service in addition to your house sit. I think house sitting is so amazing. And it's only because I saw you on YouTube 2.5 years ago, and now I'm in London.
Yeah.
house sitting. You know, I
One
travel
carry
anywhere. I've been traveling.
carry-on bag.
Yeah,
With just
yeah,
the carry-on.
so
I want
yeah,
to go back to the carry-on though,
yeah,
because
okay, go back to the carry-on. So I have my coat, my parka, which is the bomb. You know, I never, if you're coming to London,
yeah,
have a coat with a hood,
yeah,
a hoodie. And I have my sweaters. I carried four beautiful sweaters. I have three pairs of pants.
carry pants.
I have, you know, I knew I was going to be walking the dog. It's going to be, you know, muddy, rainy. So I have a wonderful pair of hiking shoes, not boots, but, you know, very, very nice hiking shoes. I have a pair of nice booties, you know, when I go out, you know, if I'm going into a beautiful space, I want to have nice shoes on. And then I have some shoes that I walk around in. That's it. And then, you know, I have my skincare.
Yeah.
Um, I already found my hairstylist here. I'm natural. I'm natural. And I said, hey, everybody, do you know of anyone here in London town who can do, you know, just a simple blowout? And I found it just by walking, living in, you know, in that walkable city. You know, that's a criteria of mine as well. I saw these two Black women standing in this gorgeous salon. So I walked in and I inquired within and I said, hey, can you, you know, I'm natural. She was like, relax her. I was like, no, I'm natural. I just want wash, condition, blowout, bumper curl done. She booked me for the following day. Outstanding job, 58 pounds in a beautiful setting. And now she's my hairstylist.
Yes. So even when you're not in London, you can come to London and get your hair done, right?
Your hair done in a beautiful space. I didn't want to go. I mean, you know, not to say that, of course, there are Black-owned hair care salons
Yeah.
and everything, but once I saw these two beautiful Black women in, you know, in this really posh area, I said, oh yeah, you need to go in there and talk to them and connect with them. We exchanged numbers. One of them is American, but you know, she's Ghanaian. She has American citizenship, so she says, let's stay in touch. And now we're all staying in touch. But yeah, I'm team carry on. I don't care if it's a month or 2 months. It's carry. I'm carry on, and I did it. I did
I
it.
went, I went from one check bag to two check bags. Listen, I checked two bags. Okay.
I'm too check
Don't
bag.
judge me.
Definitely check bag.
No.
Don't judge me.
Oh my gosh.
I need this is my mug, and this mug goes around the world with me.
Oh,
I have things that most people would not pack on a trip, right? But I'm not necessarily on a trip. I live out of those suitcases.
mm.
So
Right.
I have like three right now. I have three hardback books, which is a little excessive because I also have a Kindle, right? But there are things that I bring with me that other people wouldn't bring. But I just want anyone to know in the comments, it's okay. I'm not judging you. If you check a bag, I'm not judging you. Now, Kitty Cats, thank you very much for that super chat. She says, winter is fine with me, but I can't perform snow removal. So let's talk about what people require of you during a house sit.
Hmm.
What kind of things do they usually require that you do besides so we take care of the pet. If there's pets, you take care of the pet like it's your pet, right? You love the pet, feed the pet,
Mhm.
walk the pet, pick up the poop, right?
That's right.
Pick up poop. But what else do people require when you're in their home? Ms. J, what kind of things have you been asked or required to do?
Honestly, not much outside of, I mean, other than, leave the place as you found it. So, like if you use the dishes, sometimes they'll tell you, oh, just load the dishwasher or something like that. I wash the dishes, I take out the trash. I clean up behind myself in terms of the bathroom. I've been asked to collect mail, like these people have packages that come, bring the mail in, they'll have a designated spot for that. Water plants. Some people have gardens or indoor plants, so I've watered plants. Aside from that, really not much. Just to enjoy the home, honestly. Enjoy the home. They'll provide recommendations of places I can go, but for most of the care is really with the pet and in their instruction packet of how to care for the pet. That's usually where I find the most detail. So if a pet has a certain medication that they need to take, or if they have a schedule of when they're fed, yeah, usually that's the most detail. But everything else, some very light cleaning. And I just do that again as a courtesy because, someone's coming home from their vacation, not usually. So they want to come home to a clean house.
Yeah.
So that's, common courtesy. But other than that, there's really not been much expected.
I think it's important to know the season that you're going to that place and know what the possibilities are, right? Are you house sitting in New Orleans during hurricane season or in Florida during hurricane season? Because if something happens, you're there, right? And you're the one who's going to take responsibility. Yep. They always have a protocol. People who live in hurricane places or people who live in blizzard places, they have some sort of protocol. But what most people do is they don't house sit in those places during those times, right? Most people don't house sit in a snowy place unless they like it, or unless they can have a conversation with the homeowner and find out that they have a snow removal company and this and that, right? But I tend to avoid the bad places during the bad seasons, right? Yeah. I tend to avoid. I've house sat in Florida during hurricane season, and I'm probably not going to do it again. I had to watch. There was a hurricane came through, a tropical storm came through. And I was like, I don't think I like this pressure on me. I don't want to do that. So I think just know the season in the place and you decide if you want to do it or not. That's why Southern California has become my new house sitting go-to. Palm Springs house sits, girl. Palm Springs house sits will spoil you. Like I'm not doing hardly anything on those house sits. They don't
Stephanie, I don't get winter here, so I'm not about to go somewhere else where there's winter. I'm team boycott winter. I am not about to go and deal with the elements. Absolutely not. So no.
So just know, friends, I think listen, we have to wrap it up because we can talk for hours about house sitting. You can we love it. We're ambassadors for it. We want you to do it. But I think the main thing to take away from this conversation is that house sitting is for you. It can fit in whatever you want, whether it's you want to live full time as a house sitter, or you want to travel the world as a house sitter, or you want to travel the US as a house sitter. You want to work while you're doing it. You want to not work while you're doing it. You have a remote job. You're on vacation from your job. Whatever that thing is, you're a teacher. I saw a couple of teachers in here who I'm glad to see who are all house sitting.
Look, right? I used to be a teacher. If you have any more questions, let me know. Just let me know.
Good. Yeah. So it's for you. And the other thing to take away is that the clients are people. If you think you have something that would keep you from being booked, ask them, right? Apply for the house sit and ask them. I have a cat. My cat house sits with me. Is that okay with you? Some people are going to be like, sure. Some people are going to be like, no, my cat hates other cats. And other people will be like, yeah, my cat loves other cats. Or they might be like, are you going to be in town early? Is this a local sit? Can we meet? Can our cats meet? Can we see? You have children, you have a spouse, you have a mom, you have friends, you have someone that you want to house sit with. It's just a conversation. House sitting clients are just people. And right now, Trusted House Sitters is not mainstream. It's not Airbnb. The people who know about it are probably, it's a small percentage of the population, and they're a very particular type of person. The Trusted House Sitters client is a particular type of person.
Yeah.
They are open to having a stranger stay in their home, which means they're probably into being a good host. They've at least considered being a host of strangers, and they love their pet dearly. And there you can have a conversation about anything else. I want to go and I'm not going to be home very much. I'm going to be in the house sit, but I'm going to feed the dog, walk the dog. I'm going to be out and about. I tell them I'm going to be in the house the whole time. But whatever the thing is that you think might be a holdup, a hang up, is probably not. It's just a thing that you say to them. And then you two decide. You're not petitioning them for something. You both decide whether or not this is a fit for you. Ms. J said that the interview is not them interviewing you.
Yes.
It's you interviewing them as well as them interviewing you. It's a mutual conversation. So anything that you think might be a problem, ask them. But it's not like these things that you guys bring up. I have a spouse, I have a child, I have a pet. Those are not problems. People have house sat with them. Those are absolutely not problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. They're just regular, ordinary people, just like us, and it's like going out on a date. It's like, I guess, maybe speed dating, and you apply for the house sit, and you see, just like, oh, if it's a first date, okay, what is your idea of a long-term relationship? Oh, that's not what mine is. Okay, thank you very much, and God bless you on your journey. That's it. That's it. And then you meet those people. You see, okay, there's a good feeling between us. Okay, yeah. And then all of a sudden you're talking about other things. Okay, so what do you like to do? What is the last book you read, or whatever? You're
Yeah.
interviewing them as well. You're providing a service. This is not necessarily a job interview.
It's not a
I'm
job.
asking them questions as well. Um, about the cleaning service. Do you have, is there an alarm? Because, I'm thinking, yes, it is London, but then, beautiful people, beautiful neighborhoods get robbed as well. Do you have an alarm system? We have an alarm system in our house in the US. And, I need to know these things. And, in addition to, some people are very strict about their dog's schedule, and I adhere to that schedule because
Yeah.
that's the job. But it's there's so many house sits right now. I wish that I mean there's so many house sits in London right now. I could do it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, but you do have a husband and a house back in the States, so you might want to spend a little bit more time with him. But he knows who he married. He married a world traveler, and I will continue. I was traveling the world before you. It's going to be during you. It's going to be always. So sometimes I think not. I would say 7 times out of 10 we have house sat together, but sometimes I can't make the house sit, for him. Now we kind of house sit locally for his commute. And that's another way that people can use
Yeah.
house sitting. Yes. So
I don't.
now, yeah, now that everyone wants everybody back in the office,
Uh-huh.
he's just like, oh, okay, it's not just that I have to be in my office once or twice a week, which is no big deal. Now they want people more like 4 or 5 times, 4 times a week. So I'm like, well, let's grab a house in that city where the office is, and that's what we do. So
Oh,
people
instead of having a long commute, you house sit closer to work
So,
together.
and that's another way. And I've gotten people to do that because even that my brother works remotely, like right now, he just got a new job. And he says, oh, there are people from North Carolina who commute every single day to the job. This particular person has to be in the office. They have to commute every single day to that office from North Carolina to the place where the office is in Virginia. And I said, tell them about house sitting. They can find a house sit locally, at least stay there for a week, and then go back to your own home on the weekends. So people are using house sitting as a way to part-time live abroad. And they're beginning to use house sitting as a way to cut down on that commute, which I think is fantastic. So
Very smart.
yeah,
Yes, indeed. Yeah, use it for you. Make it yours. Make it
do.
yours.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah.
And
Okay.
to,
So go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
was going
Michelle.
to say, to add on to that, my lease is up at the end of August.
Okay.
So once I'm out of this place, I will be house sitting full time.
Uh,
So yeah, so what started as a way to be able to travel abroad has become a way of traveling domestically, slow traveling across the states,
mhm,
and cutting down on my living expenses because I was able to eliminate all my consumer debt. So my
mhm.
living expenses are wherever I live. So if I don't have rent and utilities and all that other stuff, my living expenses are very low, which also changed the dynamic of how much money do you really need to make
That's
to
right.
Oh,
That's
yes.
right.
Great
I
point.
it's something to
you're
consider.
that's right. You're in the right place for that. So in Southern California or Northern California, you
Mhm.
I've interviewed a handful of women already who do not have a place to stay of their own. They just house it back to back to back. That's another thing that you can do. You can also do it in the Washington, D.C. area, and in the New York area, if you're willing to cover some space, I think. You could probably do it in Atlanta, but maybe not. You can definitely do it in London. You could definitely do it in parts of Australia. If you want to go to a city in Australia, go to Sydney or Melbourne or Gold Coast in Australia, you can do that there too. So yes, to making it work for you, based on what you need, right? Based on what you need in the world. Some of you haven't been here since the beginning, so I want to let you know that Trusted House Sitters has given me a 30% discount code on memberships on the standard and premium level, not the basic. The discount code does not work for the basic membership, but standard and premium annual membership for Trusted House Sitters, the 30% discount code. I'm not allowed to put it on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, right? I can email it to you. So if you get my new House Sitter Toolkit at housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit, you'll get a separate email with the code. Code expires December 16th. The 30% discount code for Trusted House Sitters expires December 16th. Because they're a British company, I never know what they mean when they say December 16th, right? Because it's December 15th still here. So this may be the last full day. It may be today and tomorrow, and it may cut off on the 16th. They may mean the end of the day of the 16th in Hawaii. I don't know what they mean. I'm a person. One thing about me is I just make up my answer to some questions instead of asking the questions. Okay. And then I just roll with that answer that I made up, but I don't know the real answer for when it ends. She said it ends on December 16th. I don't know what that means. But if you get my toolkit, the very next email that you'll get from me, you'll get the immediate email with the toolkit, and then you'll get the next email that says 30% discount code. Okay, that is the way that you get this discount right now. Sign up for your Trusted House Sitters membership. If you still need some support on getting house sits, we're around. Okay, so can you tell us, Ms. J, can you tell people how they no, okay. Ms. J is not a free coach for you. Okay, she's not here to answer your free. Okay, but is there a place where you're sharing your experiences as a house sitter, as a digital nomad, as a remote person, as a woman on her journey to sabbatical?
Yes. So I will be sharing that on IG, and I am actually considering doing the YouTube journey. So that hasn't been set up yet, but you can definitely find me on Miss J Jantel. On all my social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And yes, there will be a lot of information coming in the new year.
Good. Get a YouTube channel. So listen, my YouTube challenge starts on Monday. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
My YouTube
We'll talk.
My YouTube Success 5-Day Challenge starts on Monday. Start a YouTube channel. It's amazing. I would not know y'all if it wasn't for YouTube.
True.
Right?
That's true.
And what you probably wouldn't know about house sitting if I didn't have a YouTube channel.
Absolutely not.
That's definitely true.
I personally put thousands of dollars in your pockets, and it's because of YouTube. I think we should all be on YouTube personally, but if you're interested, my YouTube challenge starts on Monday. Vicarious.com/challenge is where you sign up for it. Okay. And I do still have spots. I think I still have 6 spaces left. Starts Monday, December 16th. Okay, vicarious.com/challenge. Okay, all right. But Instagram, Ms. J Jantel, I would love to be able to follow your journey to your sabbatical, right? Follow the sabbatical in progress. A lot of us who talk this talk it after we started the thing. But there are not enough of us sharing the prep process. So I would love to see that from you. No pressure. No pressure.
That has been the sentiment that I have gotten from friends and family. So yes.
Thank you very much.
We will talk. We'll definitely.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, Felicia, tell us where to see more from you, get more from you.
My YouTube channel, In My Travels. I think it's In My Travels today, but it's Felicia Shelton, In My Travels. On TikTok, I'm now 6,000 followers strong on TikTok. You know, but I'm getting them to come to YouTube because we all know what TikTok is. You know what's going to happen to TikTok. But I am very active on TikTok, and that's also In My Travels.
And I show you what I do. This is the, day in the life of a house sitter here in London, but that can, that daily life can be applied to any house sit. But yeah, you'll have London in the background, the cheesemonger, the beautiful shops and the cafes and all of that thing. That's what I do. And I'm beginning to talk about a lot on my YouTube channel as using house sitting as a way to live abroad part-time, because I don't want to go through the visa and all that. I've done that. I have lived in Sweden for 4 years, Paris, France for 8 years, Seoul, South Korea for 4 years, and 1 year in China. I've done all that thing. I think now at the age of 55, I just want to live that, Stephanie Perry said, life of ease. And that's what I'm doing. That life of ease does not require me to wait in line at embassies begging people to let me live in their country.
Okay.
I'm not doing it. I've been there and I've done that. Now at 55, I get to live anywhere in the world on my time, and that is through house sitting. I don't have to worry about rent, mortgages in other countries. I have my mortgage and everything, with my husband and myself in the US.
Right.
But we're going to live abroad, part-time luxury house sitting, and we do that through house sitting. So that is my expertise in this realm. So you can find me on YouTube in my travels, TikTok in my travels, all that good stuff.
Thank you so much. Fantastic. I'll drop the links in the description of the video. So when you go watch the replay, the links will all be there. Okay. I'm sorry, they're not there yet. Okay. But they will be there as soon as we're finished. All right. Thank you, friends. So this was wonderful. I want to say generally, my goal on a video is to have the cutest hair. And I failed that today. Okay. So
you always have great hair. What are you talking about?
So you guys are wonderful. You've been so open and sharing and giving, but you're also like just outwardly beautiful. You're beautiful women. I appreciate you being here, sharing with us. And I love that I have introduced, let me take some credit. Okay. I love that I introduced you to a new thing and that you're putting it to use for you, right?
Yes.
That you're using it in a way that makes your life better. I love that. I love to see it. Thank you for that. Keep doing it, please. Keep going.
Thank you. I'm telling you, I tell everybody about you. Yeah, it's because of you that I'm house sitting and I'm in London, and we don't know. It's going to be 6-month sits. It's going to be all kinds of sits. And if you're a Black woman and you want to do something new, do this. Do this.
That's right. That's right.
And no matter what you think it's going to be, I promise you it's going to be 10 times better than what you can ever imagine it to be.
Mm.
Life has been changed. The path that I'm on, I would have never imagined for myself at this stage of my life. I'm 47. I'm almost an empty nester, and I'm talking about traveling the world through house sitting. Like, would have never imagined that for myself. So thank you so much, Stephanie. And if you want to try it locally. Just try it in your own neighborhood. You have nothing to lose.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. And remember, there are more house sits than house sitters. So don't think that it's oversaturated. No. We need you. I want to see more Black women house sitting and telling me about, house sitting in, Puerto Rico or wherever you are. Give me some new ideas. I'm not a tropical person. I like things nice and cool and quiet and all of that good stuff, but you never know. It's the more we are on YouTube, the more we get to share our stories. And yeah, Stephanie, thank you so much for introducing house sitting for Black women.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
My pleasure. I love it. I love to see you out here doing it, friends. Okay. Join us in the Exodus Summit Facebook community. If you're not already there, 22,000 Black women who are planning their exodus or have already done it. My YouTube Success Challenge starts on Monday, vicarious.com/challenge. If you'd like to get your own movement brewing, okay? If you'd like to get your own movement brewing on YouTube, go ahead and join my YouTube Success Challenge, vicarious.com/challenge, and then the Trusted House Sitters discount code. If you get my new House Sitter Toolkit, here, housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. I'll email you the discount code. If you're here after December 16th, still to get my toolkit, I'll email you the lower code, the lower discount. So right now there's a 30% discount, but all the time I have a 25% discount. Okay. housesit.vicarious.com/toolkit. Okay. We appreciate you guys for spending your morning with us or your evening with us, wherever you are. Early morning, it's early and late for y'all.
Yes.
You're muted, Felicia. You're muted. You're muted.
I'm going to go to a pub now. It is pitch black outside. It's a 4:45 p.m.
Yes.
I'm going to a pub. So
yeah. I'm going to have
up. Or cheers. I guess we should say cheers.
Cheers. That's right.
Okay. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. See you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.